Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 71 of Learn and Become podcast. Today, we have a guest. She's a former student of ours that's currently living in the United States. She's going to share some amazing stories and some life experiences she had in this process. Thank you so very much, Anna, for being here. It means a lot. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself and
Yeah.
let's go.
Hi. First, as I told you before, thank you for the opportunity. Today is like my last day here, and like in a few hours, I will catch a flight. So I think I'm a little bit emotional.
I'm sure how long you've been there for? What's
2 years.
yeah, so two
Two
years is
years.
not 2 weeks.
Yes. And so yeah. So I live now in Vermont. That it's this tiny little state up New York and very close to the Canadian border. My town is 1 hour from Montreal, um, and it's a very small town, 4,000 people. So, uh, yeah, and I came here to be work as an au pair, and yeah, and I've been doing this for the last 2 years. And now I'm finally going home today to
That's
see
so
my
cool.
family and my boyfriend, uh and I'm very excited.
That's cool. What is an au pair for those that don't know it?
Yeah, sure. So au pair is this program that you it's it's mostly for like young girls. Some agency you can they accept like men too, but most of them are girls, and we came like to the US to work and live with the host family. So you live with the family, but you also have this working schedule taking care of kids, of their kids, and you get paid in dollars for that. So it's an opportunity to travel on a cultural exchange and a lot of learning. Um, yeah, most of the family they have like two, three kids. Sometimes they have more, but yeah, and they all over the US.
Nice.
So if you wanna enjoy the program, you can live in Arizona or in New York or I don't know, California or here in Vermont.
So it's pretty much a paid exchange, right? Like you
Yes,
get paid to go on an exchange and you work in this meantime.
yes, yes.
Awesome. And how was
And
your experience? Like, how did you decide you want to do it? And what are your thoughts on the the process you've just been like through for the last 2 years?
yeah, so um for me it was because I really would like to have this, like I always wanted to live abroad, but it's really expensive and then sometimes really hard. So I saw this opportunity, and also my goal was to improve my English. But I think that I got it. Like, yeah, it's better than before. But yeah, so I wanted to improve my English, and I also wanted to have like to live and have this experience, uh, because I think it was always my dream, not necessarily here in the US, but I don't know, in some country. Um, the other thing that au pair has that you need to complete some credits, so you need to study. It's like uh, 7 and 2 hours credits, and then so I work with kids in Brazil. I am a Portuguese teacher, and I work with kids with special needs. So I thought that was going to be like a great opportunity to just to see how they work with special needs kids here, and then I can could see, learn, and bring back to Brazil and my work. So that was for me like my goal.
It was very wise of yours to consider that, like something you already do, and you got the chance to do it in a different country and bring that into your, we can call it your Batman belt, which is like your set of skills, and
Mhm.
it could make it even larger. That's interesting. Is it very different, the way people do it in Brazil and in the US?
It is a little bit because they have more support here and also in school, because here in the US most of the kids they go to public school because public school here really works. uh Unfortunately, like for if you think about Brazil, but there are like all the kids in, like even if you have a lot of money, if you're wealthy, you still go, like some kids still go to public school. uh Private schools are very like just a few of them and really really expensive. So the family they prefer to put a kid in a public school and save the money for to college, because college here it's really expensive and scholarships really hard to get. So so in public school they have this support, the really good support from the teachers, and also like the kid that I take care. I have two host kids. Ben, he's 11 now, and Sophia, she's 7, and she has Down syndrome. So she has this person that help her in school like all the time and stay with her. Um, and also she has OT, she has speech therapy, like everything in school, and also and she does in school and also at home. So she does both. But yeah, it's really good. I learned a lot. I learned a lot with their system. And yeah, so like when I started the process and 3 years ago, when I decided, I had this small business that I was working on it. That was private lessons. So I could help these kids because they have this struggle in school. And I just wanted to make more easier and enjoyable their learning experience in a class, like in person, one by one. So then I decided to come here to learn, was 3 years ago. And when I started my process, the pandemic hit everyone. And so it was really hard um, to become an au pair. You have this age gap between 18 and 26 years old. And when I started my process, I was 25. But then the pandemic, and then I turned 26. So I was not sure if I would make it until the US, but I made it.
That's really cool. I remember you saying that your interview was 5 days before you turned 27, right?
Yeah, that was crazy because the consulate was closed for the entire 2020 and like in a little bit of 2021. And they're only giving these special visas. So if you are going to a family that was like, if you are an au pair and you come here to a family that the parents were like doctor and working with COVID, you could get the visa because they needed you. Or
Oh.
if you're coming to a family with a special needs kid, So that's why I got my visa. Was
So
like
if it was not special needs, you would have not gotten it.
no, a lot of girls,
Wow,
they
that is
didn't make it.
interesting.
Yeah. So what happened? It was like I was working a lot with my classes, but at the same time I had all this family, and I match with this family here that I'm current in with. And what happened is that my host mom, she went to all the Sophia's doctors and supported, and each one gave me a letter. And I also did a lot of some like 3 courses with Down syndrome to prove to the consulate that I was coming to help the family. So I had all these documents and all these things, and and I got my interview in the consulate 5 days before my birthday. So I got my visa, and a few days later I turned 27. I was like, oh, oof, I got it.
Was right on time.
Yes, and then a
And
few days, I think it was like 10 days after I got my visa. After this, I got my visa. I I was traveling, and
nice.
I was so nervous. I was so anxious of COVID and the family and the new things that was waiting for me. And but yeah, I made it.
So in cases like that, who pays for the flight? The au pair or the family?
Yeah, we have to pay for the program. So
Okay.
that's the reason that like I know, and I want to like I always want to make clear when I'm talking about the program that it's not perfect. Like it's not
Yeah.
perfect at all. It has like some things that they need to fix. I think they need to work on it. But also it's a great opportunity because it's very cheap. So I think at the time I paid something around like 3,000 reais or 4,000 reais. And
That's
that and it's a flat.
for the people that don't know much about exchange. A very cheap university in the United States, if you go on an exchange, you wouldn't pay less than $10,000 a year with a scholarship,
Yeah.
like which was the scholarship I had in the first semester. My scholarship was, I think I got $7,000 in scholarship. I'm not sure.
Uh,
But I had to pay like
had to pay.
9,000. But after the first semester, I got a full ride, so I didn't pay like for it. But it's not cheap. So for those of you that might think, oh, 3,000 reais, it's nothing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
I think overall my thing like with the visa, with everything, I think if you get everything, it's still like everything. It's not even 7,000 reais.
uh,
And if you get the chance to do it, maybe in 2 or 3 months, you just get your money back because you're gonna work here. So it's really
right.
cool, and I'm really glad that I made that decision for myself in the past, and I got out of my comfort zone, and it was not easy, but I think it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice program.
That's amazing. And kind of shifting a little bit from the program into your experience.
Mm-hmm.
What was your biggest life lesson that you were able to get from it?
Mm-hmm.
Like what was the most impactful thing for you?
So many things. But I think as I said, I came really focused on my career and saving money and study. I was trying to get the best for my career, and was it, yeah, I did that, but it was more about myself. I think the journey that I lived here for the past 3 years was more about my uh, growing, like my personal growing, and as an individual, as just like I spent so much time with myself, like thinking about my life, and I don't know, I had time to think like what I wanted. And when I thought about like these 2 years, I was like, what I wanted, what I want to do, who I am. So a lot of therapy and a lot of I don't know, I learn about myself and things that I like, things that I don't like, and who I am. So for me, it was really special. Also, I'm I'm afraid of everything. I'm always scared of to do new things. And I did so many new things for the first time. So I think like I had friends that I met here, that I made here. They're like so special to me, and they helped me in this journey. Um, I went to parties, I went to clubs, I went to, I don't know, I think a lot of stuff that was like out of my comfort zone. And I felt that I was like enjoying more my 20s. Like sometimes I feel a little bit old. Like I was like, becoming an au pair now. I'm a little bit old for that. But it's not such a thing as like as be old for something. And so yeah, I did a lot of new things for the first time, and this feeling of doing for the first time something like so excited at the same time as scared, and like make me feel a little bit anxious, was nice to me. And I can look back and see how much I changed in these 2 years.
That's interesting because you said a few things that if we connect them, we get a very interesting lesson that we can apply in many, many areas of life. You said you stepped out of your comfort zone to go into this program. It was something new. You have the tendency of avoiding, like stepping into what is not familiar. And like it's not only you, humans are like that. So it's
Uh-huh.
not a you thing. Um, and when you do that, like thinking about your career and stuff, you end up getting to know more about yourself and growing. So in the end, when we think we're stepping out and going into what is uncomfort or like just it's not familiar, it's bad, quote unquote bad, that's when we get the chance to grow. That's so interesting. And you got to visit some cities, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did a couple of travels. Uh, so I went to Arizona with my host family. I also did uh, Miami, Disney, um, Washington, D.C., Boston a couple of times, in New York. Yeah, New York. I did New York. I went to New York with my friends. Was a totally different experience. Like for me, if I was going by myself, maybe I will stop like in museums and things like this. But with my friends, I just like go, and they kind of bring me to their stuff, and I was like so happy to step out of my comfort zone. And I like when I come back to my pictures, and then I see it, I feel so happy. I went second time to New York to watch Harry Styles in Madison Square Garden.
Did you?
Yeah,
Are
and I
you
was
a
like,
fan of him?
yes. And
Whoa,
when I was there, I was like, I can't believe that I'm here at this huge place, like famous, and watching Harry play in New York. So
that's
uh
unbelievable, right? To go
yes,
like,
yes.
am I even awake? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
So yeah, I did a couple of like cool things. Disneyland was something that I was like, it was not my dream, but also it's so cool, and I had the opportunity.
It's
But
Disney, come
then
on.
yeah,
Like Disneyland is
so
Disneyland.
and now I'm a huge fan, more than I was before. When they started the fireworks show in the Magic Kingdom, the castle, I just start to cry because they have this speech about dreams come true and all this stuff. So yeah, it was very
And
beautiful.
what's your
And
favorite one out of all the places? Can you pick
okay,
one?
no, I don't know.
What
I
if you
like,
create categories like the best
ouch,
one
sure.
regarding this?
Okay. So Miami, it's really cool, but um okay, if I'm gonna choose a place the I like the most because it's clean, it's nice to walk, it's nice to do stuff, I will choose Washington DC more than New York. New York is very dirty and it's very busy. Also because it's this huge city, uh, and because of the pandemic they have even more homeless people in New York, so it's just like it's a huge mess, but it's New York, of course. Like I think everyone should visit if you have the opportunity, but I would choose Washington DC as a place nice to do the things, not as busy, but also museums are free, and you have a lot of free things to do. Um, Arizona was a huge surprise for me. I've never thought that like was going there, and like and it's beautiful. Like the I think the first 2 days I just I used to wake up and I used to wake up and go outside and cry. It's
Wow. How many
beautiful.
days were you there for?
I stayed there for like a little bit like a week but
Wow.
I went 2 times. So
I know nothing about Arizona, like
it's
zero. I
beautiful, like the desert, the cactus,
I just know there is a
uh
tea called Arizona.
the
Uh,
tea,
yeah, it's
a
like a
tea.
drink. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's I don't know, like an iced tea or if it's a juice. It's a
Oh,
beverage in a can. The name
uh-huh.
is Arizona.
Oh, I think I never heard that
That's the only thing
about
I
that
know
place.
about them.
It's beautiful there, beautiful, beautiful. Like it's amazing place. Um, yeah, I think, and Disney, it's magical. It's magical. Very stressful, very expensive, but at the same time, the way they can like they put stuff there and make like you feel that you're inside a movie, and I don't know how to explain. It has all this magic, and I went there for celebrate my birthday. So you had this I like a pin, like something that you put here in the with
Like a name tag or something.
yeah, and they have one that it's happy birthday. So I had that
Oh, so
one,
you got a
and
birthday tag
everyone, yeah,
and
so
people are just
everyone in well, I was going the rides, and everyone's like, happy birthday. And I was feeling like so, I was feeling so happy to
like I've
celebrate
never
my birthday.
received that many birthdays in my life.
Yeah, yeah. So I felt good.
That's amazing. And about the city you were in, is there any specific story or anything in particular that was interesting? Any situation you
Um,
went through that was
yeah. I have a one that is not as good, but when I went to New York, I hurt my feet. I think that's the reason that I'm not very into New York. So I hurt my feet, and because you have to walk a lot, and they have a public transport public, but they I had to walk a lot, and then I hurt my feet, so I got a bacteria, and I had to go to when I came back here, I had to go to the hospital. And health insurance here in the US is really expensive. Even if you like, you need to have insurance, but even though that you have, they will still charge you. So I have my bill there, and I was looking, and it's like a $7,000 bill because I stayed one day in the hospital.
$7,000 for
Seven
one
thousand
day in the
dollars.
hospital, and you have a health insurance.
I
I
have, yeah.
don't
Oh,
get the health insurance thing in the US. That's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's an absurd. But but then the insurance cover a part and was like something like it remained eight 800 or 1,000 for me to pay. And then my host mom, she helped me to ask them like to, because I would not have the money to pay. I had the money, but it's the eight 800 it's the amount that I paid for month, so that's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. And then it was crazy. It was not a good experience, but also it's a story that I have like to tell to my, maybe my kids or like my family. But it's crazy how health insurance here works and how it's expensive, and they're way behind Brazil. Like, even though the SUS it's not perfect, we still have SUS. And so they like, here people just do things by themselves when they need to not go to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, like sometimes, like instead of go to the dentist because it's also expensive, they just do the thing, like just take off the
Whoa,
tooth.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is.
and I feel like when people think about living in a different country and moving abroad and just the entire experience, we tend to consider only the good part, which for sure is a big part of it. But how was it for you? Like being away from family, just not being at home. I mean, how was it?
Yeah, it was really hard. They have this term that they use that is homesick, when you miss home. So I really felt homesick sometimes because I am very I have this really strong bond, and I'm very connected to my family. So for me, it was really hard to stay away for 2 years. And it's really expensive if you want to go visit and you want to go back to Brazil. So I just stayed here. For sure, today with the technology, it's way better that you can call. Like, I just used to call my mom every day, my boyfriend, my sister. So that helped a lot. But yeah, like it's really hard because you feel that even though they have support from your host family, you feel that you're alone, you're by yourself, because it's different. It's just different. So that's the reason that it's so important for you to try to make friendships and like connect somehow with like people. So maybe you can feel like a little bit that you're, I don't know, that you're part of like something like a small community or a small something, and you don't feel so like sad because, for example, for me, um, Christmas was really hard, and New Year's really hard. You watch through the cell phone your family and friends celebrating and together, and then just it's sad. Like I and that's like, and also it's really hard during the winter because here in Vermont the winter is really really cold, and the seasonal depression is
How
something
cool.
real. The I January this year, I got we got here negative 41 Celsius.
No, hold on. -41.
negative 41.
So now, so it's something else. Like you're
Yeah.
in.
And it's like,
Whoa!
if you guys could see here, it's gray
I
and
swear, I've never heard about -41. I was expecting
yeah.
like -10. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
normally
cold. But
normally can
-41.
yeah. Normally it's not like this, -10, sometimes when it's really cold, -20, but that day was like -41, was freezing cold, and all the activities were canceled because you cannot go outside. -41 is too cold. Even for Vermonters, like people that they're from here.
So during those times, you had the tendency to be even sadder because of the
Yeah,
what you called depressional season. What was that?
seasonal depression because
Yeah.
because I got the chance to live here during 2 springs, 2 summers, 2 falls, but 2 winters. And and now I know my body and I know how it works with the winter and with the cold. And you need to take vitamins, you need to take supplements, you need to take vitamin D. We don't get sun. Like I don't get you have a little bit of sunny days, some days, but it's cold out. So you feel just sad and you have this like feelings that also we have the saving time for the winter. So some days the sunset it's like 4:30 p.m.
You have, yeah. uh, It's like it's nighttime from 4:30, 5 p.m. all the way to like 6 a.m. next morning, right? Like it,
7:30 sometimes.
it's
So
interesting.
you have like night. It's a nighttime, and it's just everyone is just more sad. And when they change, when they like when it's spring and summer, the people are just happy everywhere. They are like
I know.
so happy. Yeah. So
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And
And considering all the pros and the cons of this process, if you could leave a message to your younger self
ah,
before you went, like 2, 3 years ago, about all the hard work, the dedication, the things you had to do. Learning English, we know it's not easy, and
yeah.
it's also something that a lot of people don't do because it takes work, right? But what would you say to you after going through all this process?
I think you just like just breathe and calm down. Like everything will be fine. Sometimes I need to listen this now too, but sometimes we just uh worried about so many things they're not that important, and uh and we forget to enjoy the process because it's just like you need to do this, you need to do that, and this will work, this will not work, and just enjoy the process, and things will be just fine. I think it changed me a lot. I have all this cultural like experience, and that's so different from Brazil. And then I learned things about Americans that I like, and I learned things about Americans that I don't like it. But overall, I just think that was amazing, and I don't say this to me a lot, but I did a good job. I
Sure, you did. You
yeah
went to stay 1 year. You ended up staying two.
yeah.
So,
So I think I did a good job. I think
yep.
oh it just sorry. I think I just got in touch with my family, my host family. I still have my family in Brazil, like that I try to participate, because you can lose so many things in Brazil too. Like I
Mm,
lost some important things,
yeah,
but I made it and I did it, and yeah,
it was
I'm
incredible.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy.
That's the point. So thank you very much for the encouragement for all the people watching and also for yourself moving forward. Very excited that you're coming back home. I hope it's amazing time with your family. And thank you so much, Anna. It meant a lot for us. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you for having me, for everything. I really enjoyed the opportunity to speak a little bit about my life here.
Thank you. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Take
Yeah,
care. Bye
sure. Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you.